Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 202, entitled The Return of the Direct, because it is back finally. We actually have two directs to talk about. We'll get to that in just a little bit. We're also going to be talking about a bunch of events that happened over the last couple of weeks. We're going to be talking LEGO again. We're going to be talking about Super Nintendo World again. Reggie's got some new things that he's jumping into. Some of the servers are shutting down for a specific game. Lots of stuff to talk about, even an update to Mario Kart Tour. But before we get into any of that, let's do some introductions. Maybe some of you guys are brand new to the podcast. My name is Steve, but I am not alone. I am joined by Barry. Hey, Barry, how's it going?
Hey, Steve. Always a pleasure.
For sure. And also joined by Greg. Hey, Greg.
Yep, definitely always a pleasure. I love doing this. Favorite part of the week every other week. So
Definitely. And speaking of my favorite parts of the week, one of my favorite parts of the podcast is actually being able to interact with you guys, and I think we all share that love for our chat room. So if you guys are joining us live, be sure to comment about all the stories that we talk about tonight, all the games that we talk about. We would love to know what you guys think about all these different these news items and games and everything. We'd love to keep that conversation going, and we also love to keep the conversation going between podcasts, between episodes. So if you have not followed us on social media, if you haven't joined our Discord, we would love for you guys to do that so we can keep that conversation going with you guys in between episodes. All those links are going to be found in the notes here on YouTube or in the show notes for the podcast version on our website as well, NintendoFuse.com. So just make sure you head to those places and click those links and join us. We would love to have you do that. Also, if you know somebody else that's really into Nintendo and they don't know about this podcast, we would love for you guys to share that, recommend it to other people, and just help us continue to grow this growing awesome community. So with that being said, let's talk about what we have been playing, and I'm going to go to Greg first this week.
So this week I got an equally long list as previous weeks, and still can't manage to put down Animal Crossing. So it's very popular in this household. The wife has to play every day, Bella has to play every day, and I have to play every day. So we got lots of people that contribute towards the dailies, checking on turnip prices, what's in the stores, what's everything. We're still designing parts very slowly, but there's still enough to keep us coming back every day, and still gotta find Pascal every day, and so there's lots of stuff going around on our island, and definitely would love to share it with everybody at some point.
Nice.
Not only that, I was also doing some continuation of What the Golf. That's been very humorous golf game. Most recent couple levels, you're driving cars and bikes and stuff on the golf course to get to the hole. And there were some levels themed around Metal Gear Solid, and you have to sneak past some searchlights and stuff. So some pretty intense games for a golf game.
Reminds me of have you guys watched the Holy Moly mini golf show at all?
I've seen it, but I've seen advertised.
It's
I
like
haven't watched
extreme
it.
mini golf. I feel like this is taking it to the next level after that.
Yeah, I would definitely. I didn't play the original, but I could definitely see it being something like that. So, Belle's also been really wanting to dive more into Yoshi's Crafted World. So we started a fresh game with using her profile. So I turned it on mellow mode, just so it's definitely much easier this time around. So it's actually quite different the way you get wings, and you pretty much endless jumps, and the wings even give you a little bit more of height, so you can technically get back onto a platform if you're quick enough with the button presses for triggering his jump. So I thought that was very cool and unique that I totally missed out the first time around, because I quite enjoyed the classic mode on my own profile.
Nice.
Let's see. Then finally on Switch, due to our podcast last time, I actually downloaded Bloodstained Curse of the Moon Part 1. I actually beat it pretty much in the one night that I played it. Tons of memories of just the original Castlevania. I feel like the first one was a blueprint for this game, because the levels all had unique structures, very reminding me very much of the first Castlevania on NES. So that was very cool there.
Nice.
I really liked the thing where you could switch between the 4 characters, and really liked how they left the game on a cliffhanger at the very end. So now I'm definitely interested to pick up the second one.
Oh well, there's multiple ways to play it. Like that cliffhanger is actually resolved in the first game. When you beat it, you get Nightmare mode, and if you play through Nightmare, you continue with the 3 remaining characters go back to help the last one that was left behind. But there's also another way where when you get the extra characters, you can choose to recruit them, but you can play where you kill them instead, and you gain their power. And then you only have one character, but he's more powerful. And if you beat it that way, you unlock a different ending. So there's a lot of meat to the bones of that game.
Wow.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I was like, I think it took whatever 4 hours or something, and I beat the game, and I was like, is this really? I've just paid like $10 for like just a few hours.
You
So
played a quarter of the game so far.
No, there's more to it.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. I definitely will be jumping back in.
That's
but yeah, then to wrap up really quick, just been playing more Binding Blade on the Game Boy Advance. I think I'm up to like chapter 8 now, so making some steady progress there. Playing only a night or 2 a week. Then still playing Fire Emblem Heroes on mobile, so still continuing to rank pretty highly in there with all the other competitive players. So
nice. We'll go to the chat real quick. Jakester said he's been playing Fate Grand Order for event stuff, and also working on Wii U tests. I think he got a Wii U recently. I think it was used, so I think he's working on fixing it, maybe, if I remember correctly. But yeah, let us know a little more about that, Jakester. Game Guide also said hello. Barry, what have you been up to the last couple weeks? What you been playing?
So on the Switch, I've been doing Animal Crossing, but I've been doing it just for the daily stuff. And I actually haven't done it today because last night I got 10 scallops and no Pascal. And I was like, you know what? Nintendo doesn't care about my time at this point. So I'm done with this busy work. And I just logged off. But other than that, I've been playing it. Like Greg, I've been playing Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon, but I haven't been playing 1. I've been playing 2. 2 is very good. It is what I call a safe sequel. It is pretty much, they took 1, they made new levels, they made new playable characters, one of which is a corgi in a giant tank, like robot mech tank, and it's fantastic because he absolutely is a corgi and he pops out and stuff. It's awesome. And that game, I beat it, but it's like Curse of the Moon 1, where I beat it, it's episode 1, and then you have to go through again as episode 2, and you get a different ending, and when you truly go for the final playthrough, the characters from Curse of the Moon 1 comes back, so you actually have 7 characters all at once to switch between, which is pretty crazy. But it is a lot of fun. If you like Castlevania 3, I mean, they're really a spiritual successor to Castlevania 3. It is absolutely worth playing these games. I'm so happy to hear you enjoying Curse of the Moon 1, Greg, and I do hope you pick up 2. It's just fantastic games. I also did part of the Under $1 challenge on the Playcast. I picked up Classic Games Collection Volume 1, and this is a Clubhouse Games Lite, but it features different games. Checkers it has, which is there. Tic-Tac-Toe, which is new. It has a memory game, which is basic and simple. The main reason I got it is as Minesweeper. And I'm like, oh, for 39 cents or whatever, or 49 cents, I'll get Minesweeper on the Switch. I haven't played Minesweeper in ages. And it's a perfect kill time game. So I got Minesweeper. And it plays fine. So it's a little thing to pass the time. But where I've been spending the most time is on my PS4 lately, where I decided to delve into the backlog. And finally, after enough time, I started Persona 5 Royal. And I wanted to see what all the hype was about. I hadn't played it. I've only played the original Persona. And I got to say, I really am enjoying it. That's not to say it's not without its faults. There's definitely some little nitpicks. So one of those things is it's a game that has relationships, both romantic and friendship, and in fact the game is based off of that. You really need to build those up, but it's also one of those where even if you have one maxed, even if it's like, oh, we're in a romantic relationship, the rest of the story cutscenes don't even acknowledge it. In fact, it was funny because one of my playthrough, I picked a girl. I was like, all right, we're going to be in a romantic relationship, and then we're sitting in a bedroom with another one of the guys, and they're like, oh, what kind of girls are you interested in? And she's asking me, and I'm like, what? Why are we having this conversation? We shouldn't be having this conversation. It kind of takes me out. And another part where we're chasing a car, and characters are all on foot, and it's like one of the characters is like, boy, it would be really great if we had a vehicle, and literally her persona is a motorcycle. So it's like, can't you just jump on your motorcycle and chase it down? Like, come on, like little things like that. It's totally nitpicky, but as a writer, like those things kind of pull me out just a little bit. But overall, it's an excellent game, and I'm playing it on the easiest because I know it's a big game and I just want to see the story. And I do recommend it. It is definitely a lot of fun. Nice. Mobile, I'm still doing Dragalia and still doing Mario Kart Tour. Having again more fun with Mario Kart Tour, but I started a new one. I don't know why I started a new game, Tales of Crestoria, because I love the Tales of series, and this just came out, and I figured I'd try it. And it's not a game that I can, like, for some reason I just can't sit and play through it, even though it's a lot auto. But the story is really good. I mean, it's a Tales of game, and it's a really interesting premise on the story. It's like this world where if you commit a crime, no matter what it is, the whole world gets to see it and judge you. And if the whole world judges as you're guilty of the crime, like, these enforcers are sent to kill you. And it's like, no matter what, even if it's a misunderstanding, like you accidentally like hit somebody with your car, for example, even though there's no cars in this, then it's like, oh, well, you're a murderer. And, like, you're sentenced to death instantly. Like, the whole world is against you. So I'm like, that's actually really interesting, like, from a philosophical perspective. So I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, and it's free. It's a gacha game, but it's free. And finally on the PC, I'm still messing around with Final Fantasy 14. They finally announced August 11th is the next patch, so I'm looking forward to that because I'm just there socializing at this point, waiting for new content.
Nice. Let's see. Jakester wants to know if that game's on Android. I'm assuming he means Google Android. The mobile game you were talking about?
Yeah, possibly. I just check. I play on iPhone. I don't know.
Gotcha. Dave said he finished Horizon Zero Dawn, working through Persona 4 Golden on Vita, and grinding Xenoblade Remastered.
Nice.
And I think Jakester, now if I'm remembering correctly, I think he had to get his Wii U fixed, I think, and so he's checking it with games, I think, is what's going on. So, cool. Let's see. I have been playing, surprise, surprise, Animal Crossing and Rocket League. I've kind of not spent a ton of time in Animal Crossing over the last couple of weeks. It's been more of the just the daily check-ins and doing what I need to do. I'm getting really close to paying off my final home loan, so that's really nice. I think I'm just maybe 500 bells away. So that's exciting. Or 400,000, 500,000 away. So pretty close to that. A couple more days, and that should be done. And Rocket League, pretty excited. I finally got to Platinum 2 ranking. Been jumping up lately, and so it's at the point now where I've started looking into seeing how inexpensive I could build a Windows PC just so that I could play Rocket League at higher ranks, because console you only get max 60 frames per second, but then on a PC you can get up to 240. I'm like, oh, that'd be great to get that much smoothness, and then the lag time on controller input and all that stuff. So probably not gonna happen, but I've at least started looking. It's I kind of want a machine, but at this point it would just be a Rocket League machine, and that's it. There's no other reason for me to buy a computer except to play Rocket League, possibly. If only they still supported it on Mac, but they stopped.
How many systems do you have that on now?
Right? Yeah, like I own it on 3 different systems, all 3 of the consoles. Yep. And if I bought it again, although they're talking about it going free to play, so if it does, then I don't have to buy it anymore. But yeah.
Just means it's more piecemeal, is what it is.
Yeah. And then I left this off the list earlier, but there's a game that I've been playing. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It goes by Torna, I think. So I spent I spent a few hours playing Torna the last couple of weeks. And I'm now at community level 3. I still have to go to 4 to play the final battle and do all that stuff, which is ridiculous again.
So close.
I put
so
in
close.
so many hours just to get up to level 4, and like now I still think I have 11 or 12 people I still need to make happy and join my community in order to get me up to level 4.
That's just a couple of quests. It's not that hard.
Like every quest is like one person. Every once in a while I'll get one that has like 2 or 3, but most of them are just like one person per quest. And I still, at this point, like there's two gripes, and I've mentioned this way back when I started the game, that I don't know why I could actually. Yeah, Jakester is like going crazy. He can't believe me. I actually played Torna. So 2 things that I can't believe I actually got that far in the game and wasn't required to at least be at level 3 at that point. Like I should have. That should have been required earlier on. Grinding through all the way from level 2 to level 4 is a pain in the butt. And some things I did, like I've had to just go online in order to find certain resources. So like I'm like missing one resource to make this one thing for one person, and that's no problem, but I have to like go and I have to search online where to find that resource because it's not obvious. Like where is this, certain plant or whatever it is. And so I've just resorted to just Googling it and
that's fine
and finding it. And like I wish I didn't have to do that. Like they like why when do we get to that point in games where I have to like rely upon Google? Like unless I want to just like wander around for hours and then eventually find there's no hints in the game.
That's actually something they addressed in the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, where it's like you need like a flower, like it actually will appear on the map with an exclamation mark where it is.
Nice.
So they have addressed that, but if you're 10 or 11 away, like right then you're at the end of the game, and the end of the game is so powerful and so amazing and so epic.
Sure.
You just got to finish it.
At this point, yes, but I've had that problem all along. So. Let's see.
Just be ready for another 6 months before Steve actually finishes.
No, I hope not.
No,
I hope not.
Like, I'm not very far away now. Let's see. There was like one enemy that I was trying to beat last night. I tried it over and over and over again. I kept getting so close, and then he'd level up and kick my butt.
Oh yeah, I know that. There's that one enemy that like if you don't kill it before a certain time and it doesn't move, it levels up.
And then if you don't beat it by a certain time, it just kills you no matter what. Even if you have it like that close to beating the end. Sorry, you're dead, Jen. Okay, sorry. Going back to that, going on rants about Torna here. Rowan joining us. Sup, lads? Yeah, he saw the post and couldn't resist to chillax before heading off. So yeah, so glad you are joining us tonight. All you guys in the chat, feel free to chime in. Let us know what you've been playing and all the different the gaming news that we talk about tonight. Feel free to let us know your thoughts about that. And once again, if you're new, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to follow us on social media. Join our Discord. All those links are in the show notes and the description down here on YouTube.
Quickly, because I did notice, I just want to do a quick plug for Rowan here. Rowan's a really awesome friend, and he does something really cool. He's got an Etsy shop where he does physical manuals for Switch games, because Nintendo doesn't do it. So he's got like Link's Awakening is his newest. He's got Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Animal Crossing, and he just I don't know if you saw, Nintendo of Japan put out an official Paper Mario book that you can print out yourself, and he just translated it and released the PDFs for everybody. So if you want to download and print out your own Paper Mario, the official guide in that case,
nice.
It's free. He did that, so thank you very much, Rowan, and nice. I tweeted all that out. So that's awesome. Definitely check it out.
Do you want to do one for Torna?
I've asked him to do Xenoblade and Torna and all that.
Yes, I need that. I need that guide. No, thanks to Reddit and a bunch of other places, GameFAQs, I was able to get through it. But yeah. So Jakester, I think. Oh no, he's writing again. I thought I made him pass out by talking about Torna that much. But he's back. He said he tried Splatoon 2 again, and then did Turf Wars. And he quickly realized why Salmon Run is the only mode he likes. I like Salmon Run a lot too, and I wish that it wasn't like a timed thing that it's only there sometimes, because I would probably still be playing Splatoon 2 if Salmon Run was around all the time. Dave said he never played it, but he's heard that Xenoblade Torna battle theme turtle. I don't know why I said that, but it's so good. Yeah, the music in Torna is great. I wish that it. I think the latest Zelda game kind of messed me up with music though, because I love how Breath of the Wild just like it ties into everything that happens, and Torna's game, like, it's awesome music, but it's like the same, and it just keeps on going even throughout dialogue and stuff like that. I wish it like, you know, tied into what's going on.
Cutscenes, absolutely, it changes very much.
But like after you get like at my point where I'm just doing the side quests, like there's no cutscenes. There's just dialogue stuff, but there's no actual cutscenes as you're just doing a bunch of side quests like I am. So yeah, one of the things that we were going to talk about because it recently came out was the new Paper Mario game, but none of us have played it, so maybe we'll talk about it next episode. But at least Barry and Greg are planning on getting it. I'm not.
I have it.
Barry actually has it. But yeah, so we'll probably talk about it next episode. But I'll just say from what I've seen, I think it looks good and everything. And it's almost like, as I was watching some more footage and I was watching some of the reviews, I actually thought about like, oh, maybe I'll actually check this out. And then I saw the battle system and I realized that it doesn't change. Every battle is the same mechanic, the same puzzle mechanic. I was like, that's annoying, because I like the idea of it, but every time that would get annoying. So
yeah, and no experience either.
Right.
So it's one of those. It's better to dodge all battles when you can.
Yeah, and I know Basement Dwellers in our Discord was talking about, like, he forgot how to even use coins and hasn't even needed to use them yet so far. So it's really interesting. But yeah, Dave said that I would hate the repeating music in Dragon Quest XI. I've only started the very beginning of the demo in Dragon Quest XI, so I haven't gotten into it enough. So good to know that's repeating music, which is really unfortunate if it's just repeating, because the music in those games usually is good, but it'd be annoying if it was just repeating. Jakester says he doesn't plan to get Paper Mario unless it goes on sale. Rowan says too many games out at the moment, gotta go chillax on them. Nice. All right, so let's get into the news this week, and there is quite a bit. And as we said at the very top of the show, Nintendo Direct has returned, and thank you so much, Nintendo, because I know you guys are listening to this podcast, and I just want to thank you on behalf of our crew here, because you did the Direct on a Monday. That's just so great for us to talk about on a Tuesday. So thank you so much, instead of doing Wednesdays like you do right after our podcast. So let's jump into this Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase, July 2020. They're starting to name these things just like the Shin Megami Tensei games. Speaking of Shin Megami Tensei, that's what they showed off. So the big headliner was Shin Megami Tensei 5 and a remaster of Shin Megami Tensei 3, which is I want to make sure I get this right. It is Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster. So I don't know. I don't think we actually like. I didn't know this game was coming. Maybe bigger fans knew it was totally coming, a remastered version, but that kind of caught me off guard a little bit. We got to see more about Shin Megami Tensei 5. Really, of the 10-minute, like 8 to 10 minute presentation, a good chunk, if not half of the presentation, was focused on Shin Megami Tensei 5. And then, yeah, we have Cadence of Hyrule DLC that got shown off, and which allows you to do different character packs. It has a melody pack, and it has additional story content. So 3 different DLC packs there that are coming, and you can buy those individually, and then you can also buy them as a set. WWE 2K Battlegrounds was shown off, which is a very cartoony, over-the-top kind of like NBA Jam for WWE. And then Rogue Company was shown off with, I think did they show off a new? Was that the character at the beginning? Was that a new character that they're announcing?
I have no idea.
I think there was. And then, yeah, we basically spent the rest of the time on Shin Megami Tensei 3 Remastered and then 5. So, yeah, I'd love to know what you guys are thinking about all this. Greg, let's go to you first.
Well, pretty much right off the bat, nothing really had interested me with this one, but I didn't really have high hopes considering it was a mini, and then especially finding out it was only like 10 minutes long. So I was hoping for something for like Bravely Default 2 or something like that, but that obviously was nowhere to be seen. I never played the Cadence of Hyrule. I've been thinking about it, but I don't know if I'll ever get around to doing it. The music in that sounds great. So if I did get anything, that would be definitely the most thing I'd be looking forward to. Never really cared for wrestling games, so the WWE game is just definitely a complete skip. Same with Rogue Company. And surprisingly, I've never played any of the Shin Megami Tensei games. So I kind of thought about it on the 3DS, but I never pulled the trigger. And I don't know quite if I would enjoy those as much as the other RPG games as I have, and I still have quite a backlog of those to work on anyways. So unfortunately, those would probably be a skip as well.
Yeah, and the chat room's talking about all the long names. Yeah, a lot of times they do have long names, right? And then they add on remastered HD deluxe, blah blah blah, and it makes it even longer too. Dave says that a worldwide release for Shin Megami Tensei 5 is huge, but other than that, the direct doesn't have any, doesn't really redeem 2020. Yeah, I think something just to mention that this was a partner showcase, and so this was all third-party games that they showed off. Nothing was first-party Nintendo, and various games that they showed off. Barry, what do you think about this style of direct and the games announced?
I mean, going into this, we've all been waiting for a full direct. The last direct we had was a mini. We're all waiting, all the rumors. Sure, we, of course, get the direct announcement. Direct mini was the first slap in the face. And then the partners was the second. I'm not saying they didn't deliver on exactly what they said, because they did. They had us temper our expectations. That being said, they've been in the dark and kept us in the dark for so long that it's almost like walking through the desert. You're thirsty, and someone's like, well, here's a leaf that happens to have some water in it. Drink it, and I hope that will take you to your next stop. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I really hope something else comes. I hope this isn't it. If this is it for the year, that's terrible. Mm-hmm. But what they did show off, I was excited for. Cadence of Hyrule is the only game I actually purchased digitally on the Switch. I love Zelda. I really enjoyed Cadence of Hyrule. There was another DLC added to it that I went and messed around with. Seeing new DLC was great, and then boom, here's a physical. I already have it pre-ordered. It's a great game, worth it. My only complaint about the physical is that it would have been nice to have Crypt of the Necromancer on there as well.
Oh, it doesn't.
just to have both games. It doesn't. It's just Cadence with all the DLC.
Okay.
But at least all the DLC is on pack, like on the cart. Thank God. The WWE game, when I saw that, I was really disappointed. Not that the game doesn't look like fun. The game looks like a blast. But I was disappointed because A, we already knew about it. B, it was already up for pre-order. And C, I felt wasting time showing wrestlers insult each other. And I'm like, I don't care. You have less than 10 minutes. I don't care about this. Show me more games. So that was kind of annoying. The other game that they showed off,
Rogue Company.
Rogue Company, it didn't interest me. It reminded me of Payday almost.
Kind of, yeah.
Just with like the masks, and it just didn't do anything for me. But then when it ended and it was Atlas, I was watching this in my car with my wife. We were at the vet waiting, and I just literally shouted SMT5. And in my head, I was like, in your face, Jakester, because he's like, that's not going to do it. I'm like, oh, here it is. And then they're like, oh, it's Nocturne. I'm like, okay, that came out of left field. I'm happy about it. And then, of course, afterwards, SMT5. So I'm like, oh, it's even better. I get two SMT games. Now, I know Nocturne is also going to the PS4. I know 5 was also supposed to be a Switch exclusive. I don't know if it still is. I don't know if that's been announced. But Nocturne is going to both. And it's kind of weird that they're remastering Nocturne. Why not do 1, 2, and 3 together? I mean, that kind of seems weird because I feel like companies are deciding to port certain games, but they can do a collection, and I feel like that I don't know, it carries more weight. I feel like just go the little bit of extra mile, but I'm really happy to see this. I think it was short.
It's more money for
them. Yeah, that's true, provided they do it. But it was short. It was sweet. It was to the point. It would have been perfect if we had E3. If we had E3 last month and then they did this, I don't think anyone would really be complaining. But without E3 and without anything in May or June or March or April, I mean, we had a March, it was the last one. It's just one of those things where, or maybe it was April we had the mini, I forget, but it's been a while. It's there's a saying, too little, too late. If you look at 2020's roster right now, what's left of 2020 for a Nintendo first party, we have Cadence of Hyrule, and that's first party in quotes because it's really just a first party IP. That's it. A game that was released last year. That's what we get. Great. 2020 holidays looking fantastic. And I understand COVID. Absolutely, the workers and the developers, that's fine. Just say that. I know there was a little thing in the beginning, a little note. Just come out and say, look, we have games planned that were planned for 2020. Maybe they're delayed to 2021. Let's show you what we have planned, and we're sorry it's delayed. That people would be happy about that. But not knowing anything, completely in the dark, and especially we don't know Bayonetta 3 status. We don't know Metroid Prime 4 status. We don't know Bravely Default 2 status. Where are we? What's Pikmin 4 doing? Is it, on a holiday?
Totally forgot about Pikmin 4.
What about Breath of the Wild 2 even? Just give us a little teaser like that. Like when they did the first Breath of the Wild game. That was huge just to drop that in a direct.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. There's been a lot in the chat. I want to make sure that we pay attention to them. Let's see. Jakester says he's interested in both SMT3 and 5. But I think my hype died the fact that SMT3 is not this year, and everything else I don't care. And then a lot of them are talking about the directs and just about the idea, was it hyped and everything. I don't know if they really hyped it. I think I feel the same way about the treehouse thing and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm more along the lines that I think that's us that is hyping it. I mean, Nintendo is announcing it at the very last minute, like less than 24 hours out. It's not something they're like, hey guys, mark this on your calendar a month away from here. What was that?
10 hours out.
10 hours out. So it's not even 12 hours. It's 10 hours out. So it's not like they're saying, hey, this is something we're looking forward to. Mark it on your calendars. Be there. Tell all your friends. It's going to be awesome, sort of thing. It's more like, hey, we're doing this tomorrow. Hope you're there. And I think it's us that's it's hyping it. And I think especially, I mean, there's several in the chat that are talking about the way all the different things have been, like the Bakugan thing and the Treehouse and Pokemon Unite and all those things. I think it seems like an interesting direction. It's different. and there are a bunch of small things, and I don't know, maybe they don't have any big things to show, but it does seem like they are taking this different direction with these, quote unquote, smaller games that are not, huge hype things that they are just going to show little at a time and keep trickling it out in different ways and see what sticks.
You're 100% right. The hype is created by the fans. It's not created by Nintendo. They are delivering exactly as they promised. That's not the issue. The issue is that their lack of just general communication. Like, if they made a statement, hey, we're going to be less Nintendo Directs because of COVID, and we are working on stuff, so please be patient, and we want you to know we have some great things coming out that we're just not ready to talk about, people would be fine. Remember when they made that Metroid Prime 4 video, and it was like, hey, we're scrapping it because we want it to be good? People weren't, pitchforks. They were happy because Nintendo at least told them what was going on. We haven't heard anything since, but at least we were told what was going on. And I think that's important. As a billion-dollar company, multi-billion-dollar company, you should communicate with your fans, 100%. You should let us know, hey, what is going on? Just tell us. Say, hey, look, we're not going to be able to have a proper direct until the holidays. We're saving some stuff. We have some big stuff. Hopefully you're looking forward to it. That's fine. But when you don't say anything for months on end, or you trickle weird things like the Bakugan thing or Pokemon Unite, which but that was Pokemon Company and Way Forward. That wasn't even really Nintendo. It's just a lack of communication, and it hurts.
Yeah.
It really does hurt.
Yeah.
You need to be able to communicate with your fans and your customers.
Yeah.
I mean, Paper Mario was just a tweet. I mean, a lot of people. I've heard some criticisms. A lot like that last Direct could have just been a couple tweets. Like,
that's true.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting, and I wonder if it's just if it's a I don't know, a cultural thing or an age thing or what. This takes us into like apart from video games, kind of into a different world of things. But I think there's a lot of us that, in general, like just be honest. Like we just appreciate honesty, and it's okay if you don't have anything, and it's okay if things got pushed back to 2021 and beyond because of COVID and everything. We understand. Like I have no idea what it takes to make a gigantic game like that, and I'm sure that all this health stuff has really pushed things back. It's okay to be honest with us and tell us those things. And to tell us that you really don't have any news because everything's been pushed back because of COVID. That's okay. We appreciate some communication instead of nothing at all or false communication.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just nothing at all. And it's weird messages. Paper Mario was just a random tweet 2 months before it came out, and this was 10 hours before. And then the Pokemon thing was a week apart, and we got notified super quickly. It's just that. Just talk.
Yeah.
Just talk. Because everybody from Nintendo is acting like everything's status quo, and if everything isn't status quo because this isn't the typical year, it can't be status quo.
Right.
There would have to have been stuff. What were you planning on showing at E3? Was this it? Was this and Bakugan going to be your E3? Like, no, you had to have other stuff.
Yeah. Sakurai's pretty much the only one that's actually being honest and open about it.
Yes, 100%. And that's why people respect him.
Totally.
It's just be honest and open and communicate. People, will some people be upset? Of course. You can't please everybody.
People are upset anyway.
People are going to be upset anyway. So you might as well please more people. Just say the fact. Just here's what's going on. Here's why. Otherwise, the speculation gets out of control. The hype gets out of control. And they're going to be disappointed no matter what you show off.
Yeah. It is interesting that they are. I mean, it does. I feel like there's several guys that are talking about in the chat that's like how it's been very last minute, and almost seems like they're holding on. They're like, is this going to happen? Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Yes, it is. Okay, let's tweet it. And that seems weird, I guess, to me. Maybe not so much for this time that we're in, but it does seem, I don't know, it just seems interesting, and I don't know why they would continue to do that instead of pushing forward, unless they know it's not that big of a deal. We don't want to build a bunch of hype, so let's wait till the last possible minute to announce it so people don't get excited. But then people still get excited and overhype themselves. So I don't really know. But let's move on, because there was not just one direct, over the last couple weeks. There was actually two. And
Mhm.
our friends over at Devolver Digital had their own direct. Barry, tell us what Devolver Digital announced this year. It's not a whole lot for Switch, but there was a little
Uh,
bit.
yeah, Devolver Digital. If you still haven't watched one of these, do yourself a favor and watch one of these. In fact, start at 2017 and go on because it's actually an overarching story they tell every year, and it's crazy and bizarre, and like Terminator stuff, and it's just a lot of fun. But they did announce some stuff for the Switch. They announced two things. They announced a game called Olesia, which is out now. It's on Switch and Steam, and then Carrion, which comes out July 23rd. So this week, that's on Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And that was interesting because they actually had Phil Spencer there, and he was talking about it. And he's like, it's coming to Xbox One and PC. He didn't say and Switch. And then, of course, the banner came out, and of course, Switch was there. They did show off a couple other games. Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout for PS4 and Steam. Shadow Warriors 3 is coming next year. I believe that's PC and PS4. Serious Sam 4 is coming to Steam and Stadia in August. And then the most meta thing they could do, because it's Devolver Digital, is because they can't actually have a physical expo, they decided to bring the expo to everybody else, where you could download Devolver Land Expo and go through a virtual expo for all the games shown off and all their stuff. That's on Steam. It's out for free right now. Totally meta. Which is nice to see, a little bit of everything. Devolver always does everything, and they a lot of times give a lot of love to Switch. And it was great to see Switch stuff in there, of course. They also had my uncle from Nintendo talking about some games. He was there. Pretty cool. You have to watch it to understand that, but that was the Nintendo rep showing off.
Nice. Greg, did you get a chance to watch this and or check out these games? Do you have any thoughts about the Devolver Digital games?
I didn't watch it, unfortunately. I realized like, oh wait, we gotta start talking about it today, so I more read like the article, so I was looking at the games. The one that's out now, that the Elijah, that kind of looks pretty interesting. I might try to look at an actual trailer for, because I kind of like those action type adventure games in 2D, and especially with like the very unique art style for this one. It looks like definitely like an NES game or something.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that one definitely looks very intriguing to me, and I'll have to just see if any interest to get the Carry-On or whatever. But
Carry-On's great because it's like a 2D Metroidvania, but a horror game where you play the monster and you're going around and killing all the soldiers and stuff.
Yeah, so definitely we'll be checking that out later. So, I guess that comes out in what, like 2 days then? Because it says like July 23rd.
Yep, 2 days. And it's coming out physical as well. There's a limited run and special reserve have a pre-order going live on the Thursday for a physical version. If you.
Yeah, so I'll definitely be looking at the trailers, and if the price is right, then I definitely might be getting one or both of them.
Cool. Yeah, Carry-On is really the only game that caught my eye. The Olegia, whatever how you pronounce it. It looks okay. I think I've kind of. I think the old style, like the retro style, was cool for a while, but I think it's run its course for me. But with Carry-On, I think it's cool. It's not like modern graphics, but it's retro, but like modern looking, which I think is really cool. And the concept of playing the monster is that's cool. When you can flip the script, that's just fun. So I'm definitely interested in that. I might be checking it out. I might not get it right away, but it's one of those that I'm kind of shelving for. Hey, if I'm ever looking for a game to play and I've finished Torna and things like that, then I may check that one out. But it does look pretty cool. Barry, what stood out to you from this thing?
I mean, Carry-On looks great. And the fact that they actually had the monster there talking with Phil Spencer to talk about it was great. The other games, I've heard good things about Shadow Warrior. I have the first two. I just never played them, but I have heard good things. And Serious Sam is a series I played way back when on the PC, so it's kind of interesting to see that still out there.
Yeah.
My biggest takeaway, though, like when you watch a Devolver Direct, it's all about the presentation, it's all about the message. Like the games are second fiddle, and they pointed out a really good message in this one, which was, let's just show off some trailers. And they show off a lot of BS trailers during this. It's fantastic. A lot of fake fun. Like they have developers, like real developers on camera, and they're like, talk about your another game. I'm like, we don't have a game. I'm like, we'll make something up quickly. What are you doing? And it's like, our game, and like the Nintendo Direct logo appears, like, and it's like our game coming out soon, like, and it's like, why are we doing this? It's like, well, because gamers hype up these games for multiple years. They watch every trailer, they digest every bit of information, and then when the game comes out, they rush through it in 30 minutes and it's on to the next. It's all about the hype and the build-up. It's not actually about the game. So it doesn't matter. These games could never come out. We're just going to bring in the marketing money and all that hype and the press, and we're just going to eat it up. That's all gamers really want. And like the more I thought about it, I'm like, that's kind of true.
Yeah. For sure.
So yeah, it's so worth watching.
Yeah, I love their social commentary on the whole gaming industry is quite hilarious, for sure. Let's see. Rowan says it was good, especially that there was that serious bit. My pub was like, "That's true, we do that." Yep. So yeah, so that was Devolver Digital, but there's still more going on. Limited Run Games had a big event and a ton of Switch games coming out. Barry, walk us through all that was announced for Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, this was going to be their E3 press conference, but because E3 was canceled and COVID, they postponed it. And there was some games. Some of these games are also coming to PS4. And there were a few PS4 Vita games that were not coming to Switch, but the majority of what they showed off was coming to the Switch. And these are all coming physically, but obviously some of them they're bringing digitally, like Shantae. They're bringing the original Shantae digitally. They are publishing it to Switch. They're also reprinting the Game Boy Color cartridge and bringing it physically to Switch. Shantae's Risky Revenge Director's Cut as well. So now the entire Shantae series is playable on Switch. All 5 games, which is really cool. Big one, Mummy Demastered. That is a Metroidvania-style game based off the latest Mummy movie. But because Universal owned it, it was digital only. People thought this is going to be another Scott Pilgrim gone to the ether. And nope, we're getting a physical for it. Extreme Sports is an old way forward game. That's also coming to the Game Boy Color and the Switch. They're doing a new River City Girls game. I think it's River City Girls 0. Big one for me, Castlevania Anniversary Collection, which is out already digitally, is getting a physical. That is huge. That is Konami working with Limited Run at this point. That's a big name, and that's something that should be physical. I mean, that deserves to be on the shelf with the other Castlevania games. That's a big franchise. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2, I'm talking about it earlier. That, of course, is getting a physical. Mighty Gunvolt Burst. I love the Gunvolt games, and this is actually a crossover with, of all things, Mighty Number 9, but it's done in 8-bit graphics. Was a ton of fun on the 3DS, and this is getting physical. Kunai, which is actually up for pre-order now. One I'm really excited about, Ys Origin. I love the Ys games. This was a PS4 and PS Vita game. Now it's coming to Switch. Beautiful collector's edition, and that's also available. Observer's coming to Switch. Gris is getting a reprint this week. The first game had a physical release. Gris is a critically acclaimed game. The physical release is selling for like $200 now because people want it. So they're reprinting it with a new cover, non-numbered. This way, those that do want to get it physical don't have to pay that ridiculous price. Carry On, we mentioned, is, of course, getting a physical. Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. Friends of Ringo Ishikawa just went live today. That's through the distribution. That's through PM Studios. Mega Dimension Neptunia 7. That was a PS4 game. Is now getting ported to Switch. Another huge one, the Grandia HD Collection, which was already digital. Again, that's just one of those titles where that needs to be physical. That's just, if you've never played the Grandia games, they are fantastic JRPGs, and you get the first 2. Katana Zero, that was shown off in Nindies a little bit ago last year. Mm-hmm. To the Moon. is coming. Return of the Obra Dinn. A lot of people love that. One of my friends played through it, and it's like a first-person black and white puzzle game. Towerfall Ascension, which was the selling game for the Ouya, is coming now to Switch from Limited Run, and physical as well. Super Meat Boy Forever is finally coming out physically for the Switch. Samurai Jack, Battle Through Time. I don't know if that was announced beforehand, but that is coming to the Switch now. Trover Saves the Universe, which was a PS4 VR game, is now coming, so the Rick and Morty fans will like that. Pixel Junk Eden 2 will be heading to Switch. A game that I recently played, Bug Fables, The Everlasting Sapling, which is a Paper Mario style game. Very good, difficult, but good, is getting a physical. Demon Turf, which is the newest one from Fabraz, the makers of Slime Song, is getting it. And then finally, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, which is, again, digital right now, is getting a physical and is already available for pre-order right now on Limited Run's site for the Switch. So a lot of love to the Switch.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's so cool. I mean, you guys know that, like, I'm not a huge physical collector. I collect certain ones, but that's so awesome for people that love collecting, like yourself, Barry. Like, that's a huge list of games that they're going to be able to put out for those of you guys that love getting the physical games. Greg, anything stand out to you? Because I know you do a little bit of collecting. Is there any that you're kind of marking on your list to make sure you pre-order?
No, at least not yet. I mean, it's great that they're all coming like physically and everything. I'm not a huge physical collector. Just so my SD card had filled up much quicker than I imagined. So I've been getting a few more games physically now because of that. But I don't just buy a game just to have it as part of a library collection. It's one that I would actually intend to play and enjoy. So
well, you can still play them. That's
yeah,
designed to play.
I understand, but it's also I'm not just picking it up just like, oh, this game's now physical, or like, because I know Untitled Goose Game is obviously one of them. I've already had the digital. I played it. I loved it. So it's, I mean, I would love to support them further, but that's going in double dipping. I also would love to have Animal Crossing digitally, so I don't have to keep taking out the darn card to play Yoshi. But I'm not buying it a second time. So
yeah, I'm with you. I think I really do think it's great that that these are coming to physical. I love that limited run games and other companies like them are able to secure enough rights to be able to publish them and make a lot of people happy by these games coming out. Yeah, none of them like will make me go out and buy them, but I love the fact that they are. I think it's fantastic that they're releasing 2 Game Boy Color games though. That's just hilarious to me. Great, but hilarious.
Yeah, I really wonder how those are going to sell because like they're like Game Boy Color, and that's been kind of done for quite a long time now.
Well, they sold Game Boy. They did the Star Wars, like they did repros of the Star Wars Game Boy and NES and N64 games, and they all sold very well. They're repros, but they're official repros. So they're not like the official printing, but they were done with Lucas. This is done with Way Forward, saying yes, we give you the rights. Because I don't know if you know, the original Shantae was put out by Capcom. And if you want a copy of the game just loose, you're looking at $500 to $600. So the only way to play the game right now is through emulation or paying that price. So this will not be the same sticker. You'll know it's different. It doesn't have Capcom. But if you really want to play it on original hardware, this is going to be your affordable way of doing it. And if you want to play it on the Switch, because, hey, you'd missed it. Maybe you didn't know what Shantae was. You didn't buy it on Game Boy Color. And now you started playing the other Shantaes. You want to go back. They're the ones publishing it both digitally and physically on the Switch, letting you, hey, now we can play through the original.
Yeah, that's cool. I think it's very similar. Greg, you can actually play it on your Game Boy Advance as well.
Yeah.
So the Game Boy Color games do work on there then, right? In the original
yes, they
Game
do.
Boy?
Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
So I've been focusing mostly on advanced games. I did small plug here. I did pick up Mario Kart Circuit Tour, so...
Yep, you can play all those games. So see, you can play it.
There you go. Yeah, so many games and so many of them that I haven't played.
Those are all good games too. Like
those are good games. It's actually looking through the list reminded me that I've missed out on a bunch of good games that I haven't played yet. Yeah, I think I played Star Wars one episode, or episode one Racer. That was fantastic.
That was a
I haven't
fantastic.
gotten on Switch yet, but it's hard to beat the arcade game though. Man, that's what I want. I want the thing you can sit in and just like, yeah, that's great. Uh, that's what they need to release. If
That was
Limited Run
yeah,
releases that, or Arcade One Up releases that, then maybe I'll go back and
that would be
get
a
that one.
very expensive game.
I mean, I do know Shantae is supposed to be a really good game, so maybe I might have to check that one out.
Shantae
Well,
is,
did you? Yeah, awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Have you played any of the Shantaes?
No, not a single one. I've
Oh
heard
man,
good things about them.
Very
they're like
good.
Metroidvanias. They're your 2D
I-
Metroidvanias. Your style.
I know. Yep.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it's more platforming though than a lot of
Yeah.
Metroidvania, so that's why I really enjoy them. Because I'm not a huge Metroidvania fan. Like I'll play them, but because Shantae has more platforming, it draws me in more. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Have you played the
Yeah.
original?
Those
Shantae?
are
I didn't.
those
play
like
the
my
original.
first. Yeah, and I can get it for Game Boy Color.
I could.
Yep.
I could. Except for I don't have a Game Boy Color. I have a Game Boy Advance. But yeah, that was actually one of the handhelds that I skipped over. I went from Game Boy to Game Boy Advance and skipped over the color. But
I remember
went-
seeing Shantae in like EB Games when I worked there, and I'm kicking myself for not buying it.
well, you didn't know that 20 years later it's gonna be $500?
I had no, but that's Lou's boxed. It's closer to $1,000.
Oh man, that's crazy. So yeah, limited run games had a lot of stuff, but that wasn't all. Barry, move on. Let's move on to Numskull. Had a big announcement presentation also on the 21st of July. So tell us about what
Hey.
Numskull announced.
Yeah, it was earlier today. Numskull, for those that don't know, is a European publisher. They pretty much publish their games in Europe, and PM Studios publishes the same games over here in the States. So usually it's almost a safe bet that if Numskull is putting out a game, PM Studios will hear. But if PM Studios doesn't, then these do stay in Europe. The Switch is region free, and these will be in English, so you can just import them. But they had a little quick direct. It was really neat. The first thing they talked about was Ministry of Broadcast, which we've known about. They just showed it off a little bit. That is coming later this year. All these are coming physical, so they're also digital. The second game is Super Epic, which is already out over in the UK, but they wanted to talk a little bit about it. And the English version is distributed through Limited Run. In fact, it's shipping out right now, but it's still available at limitedrun.com or limitedrungames.com if you want to get a physical in the States. Then a game which I played recently for the Playcast. I talked about, I think in the last podcast or the one before that, which was Holy Potatoes, What the Hell. Definitely not a puzzle game for me. It's micromanaging and all that. But there's multiple Holy Potatoes games, and they're doing a Holy Potatoes compendium, which includes a weapon shop, We're in Space, and What the Hell. So 3 games if you like puzzle, if you like quick thinking, micromanaging. It's a good bang for your buck. All of them are already available digitally, but it's nice when they take smaller games, and if they're going to put them physical, they put them in a compilation as opposed to here, pay $30 for this $5 game. So that's cool. They mentioned Horizon Chase Turbo, which if you haven't played is a fantastic old school racing game like Outrun. They had to reprint it because they printed a physical copy and it sold out and started going for a lot of money. The PM Studios in America has already reprinted it, but now Numskull's doing it overseas. And the last thing they talked about, which really excites me, I didn't even know this existed, is another compilation called Robotics Notes, the Elite and Dash Double Pack, because it's the 2 games, Robotics Notes Elite and Robotics Notes Dash. They're visual novel games, and they include characters from the Steins Gate universe, which really excites me because I love Steins Gate. I didn't know these existed. They stayed in Japan. They were never released in the West, and this is the first. Hey, now they're coming to the West, and they're coming physically in a double pack. So hopefully PM Studios brings that to the States. But regardless, that's one I am definitely looking forward to. I don't know if any of those games excite you, but there's some really good titles there.
Nice. Greg, yeah, anything stand out to you?
Not really. I was just kind of scanning through the video. The first game,
Ministry of
which was,
Broadcast.
yeah, that one did seem kind of interesting. Then for Super Epic, I almost thought it was like the game that I played on Wii U that I really liked. It was just Epic, but it's not totally not related to that. I think that's a completely different publisher. So, yeah,
Ministry that's Super Epic is a Metroidvania as well.
yeah. I mean, there's so many of these Metroidvania games. Can't play them all though. So
I know, but it's great though. It's just
true.
That means when there's a lull, you can always go back because the games are always there.
That's the unfortunate thing about that style of game too. They're not quick run-through games. You have to sink some time into them, so you can't really play them all.
And the really hard part is I try to go more to the completionist attitude towards these Metroidvania games, so that takes a ton of time and tons of backtracking. Like, I still remember doing the Metroid on 3DS and still going back to getting every single missile upgrade and every single energy tank and stuff. So I probably don't need to do that. I just don't know why I need to, but probably just waste a lot more of my time.
Nice. Yeah, I think the only one that really stood out to me is Horizon Chase Turbo. Just looks so cool. Like, I remember the Outrun games and just loving that. I love how it just looks like that, the old school kind of stuff. And I talked about how I think the platformer, kind of old school platformer style, is kind of wearing on me, but the racer kind of that's still fairly new. So to go back to the retro style, so that's still pretty exciting.
I'm surprised you haven't played it yet. It's big. There's a lot of cars, a lot of tracks, and good reviews.
To be completely honest, I think I forgot about it until this presentation, and I was like, "Oh right, that's a thing."
It's the reason they're reprinting it. It's sold so well. They thought they did like the minimum print of 5,000 physical, and it sold. And then it started going for higher prices on eBay because people wanted it because it's gotten good reviews. And it's one thing for it they do like a limited print of a game that's really not so good. It's like people are more buying it for the completionist set. But when you do it of a really good game, like I said, Gris is getting a reprint because it went up. That's a good game. Horizon Chase Turbo is one of those. It's really good.
Yeah. I think, if nothing else, it reminded me that game exists. So I'm gonna have to check it out and maybe get it pretty soon. Anything really big stand out to you, Barry, that you're really excited about?
Oh yeah, robotics, hands down. I didn't know it existed, and I was watching. I'm like, this is pretty cool, and then like, oh yeah, Steins Gate characters, and I thought one looked familiar. I'm like, oh my god, this is actually set in that world, and I love the Steins Gate universe. If you've never seen the anime, it's awesome. If you've never played the game, Steins Gate Zero Elite is coming out, but the first one is on the Switch, and it is a slow burn, but it is totally worth it. Fantastic. Horizon Chase Turbo I played. There's 3 covers in America. I have the covers. It's great. I love it. Holy Potatoes, I'm getting it, but I don't plan to play them. I already did play one of them, and I didn't like it. Ministry of Broadcast, I am looking forward to it. And Super Epic, I actually have the European version. And then they're like, oh, yeah, here comes the American one. So I'm like, oh. So I actually have an extra copy of the European. So maybe I'll send that Greg's way so he can play it.
There you go. And they also said, like, it seems like more is coming from them. And they gave away a Nintendo Switch Lite. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, there is another presentation coming later this year from them.
Nice. Let's see. Go to the chat. Rowan's a big fan of Love Steins Gate. Good anime. Barry says Jakester says Barry he may pre-order limited run game tomorrow unless he buys a poster frame for his Pokemon.
Yeah, Ys or Star Wars.
Nice.
Both good games.
Nice. All right. Well, that wasn't all. All of these the game companies are still popping out their stuff. A lot of this stuff probably would have happened at E3, but they've just kind of spread it out over July. And Ubisoft had a little event. Ubisoft Forward happened, and well, we didn't really get a whole lot of Nintendo news at all. But Barry, what did we find out from Ubisoft?
I think the fact that we didn't get a lot of news is more telling than if we did, and I think that's really the topic here to discuss. Ubisoft is obviously a very big third-party publisher. Ubisoft usually does an E3 presentation, and this is their E3 presentation for the year, or at least, the first half of it. Ubisoft is also the only one of the big publishers that has really Nintendo come on stage. Miyamoto is there, and they did like Mario and Rabbids, and they did the Starlink. So, and on top of that, they have some really great titles that people look forward to, like Beyond Good and Evil 2 and Rayman, and Gods and Monsters looks really cool. That's coming to the Switch. So Ubisoft Forward happened, and there was a pre-show. They showed off a couple things. The Trackmania, the Just Dance was there. Yay! We figured that was coming. They showed off for the latest Trials. They showed off like they're adding free DLC, including the longest level ever in a Trials game. So that's cool. That's virtually where the Switch information stopped. It was all in the pre-show. Because there was cross-play with Brawlhalla coming to mobile for the Switch, but everything else they showed off, which was it was pretty much everything you would expect from an Ubisoft. Like if you played Bingo, this is a safest line you can do. Ghost Recon Breakpoint was shown off, Watch Dogs Legion, Brawlhalla Mobile, Might and Magic Heroes, Era of Chaos, Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, Rainbow Six Siege, a new game called Hyperscape, which actually has an interesting premise, but it's another like a shooter, like a survival shooter kind of deal. Assassin's Creed Valhalla was shown off, and then it ended with Far Cry 6. All nice titles, not my cup of tea, but I know there's a huge fan base for them, and none of them are coming to the Switch, and that is huge, because if the Switch had these titles, if this was like the limited run list where 95% of the stuff was going to the Switch, great. If this was there and we said, hey, and these titles aren't ones that are like, oh, these are foreign to Nintendo. Nintendo's had Assassin's Creed. Right. Nintendo had Watch Dogs. Nintendo's had Tom Clancy games and Rainbow Six and stuff like that. But none of these games are coming to the Switch. And that is super telling, because these are all million-seller games. And again, I'm not the market, and we may not be the market, but for a system to be truly successful, we need these games. We need games for all types. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, what do you guys think that about the omission of Switch being? All these other companies are like including Switch everywhere, or at least as much as possible. And here it's in the pre-show for a few little things and completely gone, and it's Ubisoft, and no less.
Right. And I think these games are great. I mean, I played Watch Dogs 1 and 2, I think. I played some of the Assassin's Creed games, and they're great games. And I played all those games on Nintendo platforms. And so, like, yeah, it's surprising, I think, for Ubisoft not to be bringing, to be announcing and bringing relatively little to Nintendo platform. It's weird, I think. And Jakester like Splinter Cell, Tom Clancy games, things like that. I think it's weird. I thought back to the day when the Wii U was announced, and I was actually at E3, and I think they showed off a Splinter Cell or Tom Clancy game or whatever.
Yeah, there was a Splinter Cell.
It was
Conviction,
so cool,
I think.
and then it never saw the light of day. It was like the whole dual screen thing. I remember Mickey actually really showing it off and walked it through. It's deep late. Like if you go way back on our YouTube channel, you actually see it there. And yeah, like they haven't been supporting them, and then it's just like they take more and more steps away from Nintendo as the years go on. It's shocking to me, I think, because it seemed like they had a pretty good relationship, but over the last couple of years, it seems like it's waning. I don't know. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, I was actually going to touch on that. I feel like Ubisoft is like right there from Nintendo, like day one, like, oh yeah, we'll support it. Here's a bunch of games, and then like 3 years in, it's just like, nope, we're done. Like, throw in the towel, we're done. I mean, I'm kind of surprised because the Switch has been much better successfully than like the Wii U, and especially with more core audience than like Wii even. So I'm very surprised. I mean, unless their sales numbers are just not where they're expecting to be, which they pretty much deserve to be because they're great games, as you said. I mean, their Assassin's Creed series is huge, and same thing with those other games that they have as well. So that's very shocking to see them just want to throw in their hat this early and almost kind of be done.
Yeah, Jakester
Well,
mentioned if it was like Activision or maybe EA. Yeah, I mean, like I feel
yeah.
like EA is actually turning a corner and coming back to Nintendo at the same time Ubisoft's like out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because they hung on more than more than like so many others did for the Wii U, and yet with Switch, they're like out the door. I don't get it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the reason is the graphic engine, the tools. The Switch probably can't handle these games, at least in their native form, and they would need to hire another company to port the game, which means if it did come, it's going to come much later on at a lower resolution. And I think that's something that goes back to the Switch 2 discussions or the Switch Pro or something, where the real reason for the Switch to have more power is not to see a prettier Nintendo game, because the Nintendo games look great, but it's to allow developers to bring all their games easier to the system, because these games would sell like hotcakes on Switch. To be able to play these games portably, people would go nuts, especially with crossplay. I mean, that's what EA. When you're watching EA play, like I was like, EA is my least, excited about conference. I go into it just more out of obligation to watch all of them. And they showed off, right? They opened up. Here's cross-play with Apex, Switch included. We've got 7 Switch titles coming. We're excited about the Switch. Whoa, this is EA. When here at Ubisoft is just like, here's all these games that you all are, and a lot of them are already announced. Like we knew Assassin's Creed Valhalla, we knew Watch Dogs Legions and all that, but none of them heading to Switch. But they did state that this is only really part one, that there will be another one of these later in the year. So this is Ubisoft's Nintendo Direct kind of deal. So there will be another one later this year. Maybe they'll give more, some Switch love then. We don't have a date for it yet, but they say it's coming. So I guess we could just be hopeful that maybe they'll have some Nintendo stuff to show off later in the year.
Yeah. Maybe it was.
That's something that.
Oh, go ahead, Greg.
Oh. I was like, they can certainly teach Nintendo a thing or two about telling, like, oh, we have something coming later this year.
Like, yeah.
And maybe
touch on what we talked about at the beginning.
Yeah.
Numskull did it too, like both companies.
Right. And maybe it is. Maybe it's maybe they're gonna focus all on PlayStation and then Xbox in one, and then big focus on Nintendo in another one. And maybe that's why. Maybe it has to do with Nintendo being held back on something and they couldn't actually show stuff off. Who knows? It might be, something connected with all that. The same reason why Nintendo hasn't showed much off. And it's the same reason why Ubisoft didn't show much of Nintendo stuff.
I was still hoping for like Beyond Good and Evil 2, which I know is not coming to the Switch anyways, but like personally, I love the first one. I would love to have seen something there, or a new Rayman. And I'm still holding out hopes that we haven't seen Gods and Monsters, because it's secretly being converted to a Kid Icarus game for a Switch exclusive. But that's just me.
Well, let's turn our attention to Nintendo first party. And there's a little game that Barry's held on to.
Yes.
Even though Greg and I said goodbye a long time ago. But a little update that may actually pull me back in. I'm not sure. I'm going to give it a shot. I haven't yet. Does it come out today or tomorrow, this update?
I'm not sure.
I think it might be tomorrow. It might be today, actually. But very, very soon, Mario Kart Tour is getting an update. And yeah, we're going to be finally moving into landscape mode on Mario Kart Tour. So you can play in portrait mode as you have been, for a while, or you can go to landscape mode. And that's basically the update. It's coming. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys know this, does that include, they haven't included controller input yet, right? It's just still on-screen controls. So if they turned it into, if they gave controller input and they put landscape, sign me up. I'm there. I'm quitting the podcast. I'm going to play Mario Kart on my phone right now. But I'm still holding on for that. It's probably not going to happen at all. But I'd be more excited if they also included that. Greg, is this going to be something that's going to get you back into Mario Kart Tour, being able to turn it landscape?
Nope, I haven't really liked the design of Mario Kart Tour at all. So I don't like that there's you pretty much have to get the newest racers, and only certain tracks are around. I'm also not a huge fan of motion controls for the Mario Kart games. Even on Wii, I was using the Wii Remote and nunchuck setup, like not even trying to use the wheel or anything. So I've appreciated more normal controls for my Mario Kart experiences.
All right. Barry, are you going to flip the screen?
Probably not. Like the Tales of game that I started, that actually is horizontal, and like it kind of threw me for a loop. Like, oh, I gotta play it horizontally. And I think that's just because I've played Mario Kart Tour for all this time vertical, and I'm just so used to it at this point. It doesn't bother me, and I'm really enjoying what they do with Mario Kart. Because I'll be honest, like when a new Mario Kart comes out, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or whatever, Mario Kart 8, I play it, I race through all the tracks, and I usually just put it down afterwards. Like I did it, I used to play the old ones with friends, doing multiplayer and stuff like that, especially Black Fort. But once I race all the tracks, I don't sit there and grind out the coins for the new, kart parts or whatever. I race the tracks. I got, the 3 stars, and I walk away. I'm done. I'm satisfied. I don't need to play online. I'm happy. This game actually gets me coming back a little bit every day to play a couple courses. I remember when the game first came out and I was complaining about there was the XP cap, how like you only got so much XP a day and only so many coins a day. And, that's still there. But I never hit the XP cap anymore because I'm not grinding anymore. Like that was a problem because I was just trying to grind it out and I couldn't. And they give you tickets to give you a free experience. It's so easy to max everything if you want. And the same with coins. I mean, they give you coins, and 300 is still the cap. And that's usually what I'll do. Like when a new circuit comes, I'll play till I hit the coin cap, and then I'll stop for the day, and then I'll come back. And I just find doing the tournaments and trying to race and get the highest score and race against the friends a lot of fun. I've made some good friends through that, and we just try to compete. And the problem is it is a gacha. The problem is you need the certain racers to have a real advantage, and usually the first cup has like if you do the gacha character, you have an advantage. But that was the way it was originally. It's still that way, but now there's more options. So it's not like right now Captain Toad is the latest that they added. So the new cup, the new tournament one, Captain Toad is there. But if you have other racers from previous ones, you can still get the same advantage. So it's less like hurtful. And they're also starting to bring back older characters in smaller pools. Like they have one out now with like 4 of the elite characters in a pool of 50. So it's like, oh, cool, you have a higher chance of getting those previous characters than here's one character in a pool of 100. It's much better odds. And I like that. I still think they need to be a little more generous with the rubies, but that's me. But I might give it a try, the landscape mode, and I hope it brings more people back to the game because I think it is well designed, and I think the courses, the way they've updated, like they just brought back Choco Mountain from N64, and they've updated it with like glider and all that stuff. Like that's really cool. It's interesting to play an old game, course I used to race all the time in a new way, and it feels like a new course.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm pretty sure that one was on 8, like either 8 or 8 Deluxe or maybe even 7. I thought I remember having that one with the glider at some point.
Yeah, I feel like it was at some point, but
it might have. But they also do what they do with the tracks is they have the regular version of the track, they have a reverse version of the track, then they have a trick version of the track and a reverse trick version of the track. So there's 4 modes of every single track.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of exclusive tracks that way.
It's interesting. I think the coolest thing about Mario Kart Tour is that they are redoing all these tracks and adding all that stuff in. And I wonder what I would love is if like Mario Kart 9 comes along and they say, well, we've done all the work to all these tracks. Let's just put all the old tracks into Mario Kart 9 plus new ones. Like we've got all the work done. It all looks fantastic on a mobile phone, which is going to be just as probably good as graphics as whatever the next Switch or Switch 2 or Switch Pro whatever is going to be able to put out. So why not just include those tracks right in the game?
Let's see it. Mario Kart 9 Ultimate.
There you go.
There you go. Another interesting thing is when the game first came out, the big deal was the tours. and they were doing real world locations. You had New York, and they did London and Paris. They did like New York too. They haven't done those real world locations in a while.
Really?
Like now it's more like the new tracks are just like older tracks coming in, and they did the Mario circuit, and they did like the jungle circuit with like Funky Kong and Dixie Kong joining the roster, and they brought like some Donkey Kong tracks back, but they didn't add a real world like the Amazon. Like you weren't racing through the real Amazon kind of deal. So it's kind of interesting how they kind of like, we're done with that. I don't know if it'll come back, but it's kind of interesting. That was the whole point of the tour, is that they were a world tour.
Right. Yeah, I'll probably check it out. But I don't know about actually like if it's gonna be enough to like make me stick around and play it all the time. But it's definitely something that I'll be checking out. Like it's free, so why not? Well, let's move on. Another game that it's still technically out for mobile, but it's getting some support dropped. Any fans of Pokemon Rumble Rush? Anybody?
I played it extensively when it came out.
Right, but how long has it been since you played it?
It's been a while.
Yeah, seems like it's been a while for a lot of people because they're cutting support on that. Barry, you want to share a little bit about what's going on with Pokemon Rumble Rush?
Yeah, it a really short life, and I don't know if this is because of the new Pokemon Cafe game that's going to mobile, but this is the problem with the digital titles, especially ones that require an online connection, is at any point the servers can shut down, and the real tragedy of these type of games is people put money in. So if you want to buy Paper Mario on the Switch and you're going to spend $60, you own that game forever. Now, even if, the server shut down and you can't update it, you can still play the version on the card. It may not have all the bug fixes, but at least you can still play that game forever. Rumble Rush and other games like that, you can't. When the servers go down, it's gone. And if you spent $1,000, if you spent $500, if you spent $5 on it, doesn't matter. It's gone. All that work, all that time, all your energy building up your Pokemon roster, it's gone. And that it was a fun game. I did enjoy playing it. It started to hit that wall that really made you want to pay to try and proceed, or you're gonna have to grind. The same thing that happened with Pokemon Quest when I stopped playing that. So I feel for all those people, and that's the real deterrent to Mario Kart Tour or Dragalia Lost or Fire Emblem Heroes. People spend thousands of dollars on these games, and once that stops and they shut down, your $1,000 that you just spent, you can't even use. You don't get a refund or anything like that. It's gone, and you can't I wouldn't mind if they stopped support, but you could at least play the game single player, because these are single player games. Right. They just require you to connect to a server, and that annoys me. Like Mario Kart Tour, they can keep the ghosts and let you just race against the NPCs and continue playing the game, but it requires connecting to a server when you log in.
Right.
And if you don't have that and the server shuts down, you can't even play it, and that's terrible. I understand it's mobile and all that stuff, and I don't mind it when the game is live. But if they're going to shut down a game, I think what they should just do is they should just let it be as is, a single player experience, and just let people who want to enjoy it, because that's what game preservation's about. And some people don't look at mobile games and those are lesser games, and you know what, to a degree they are, but they're still games. They're still developers, and are working hours and hours to make the best game they can with whatever limitations. And with how powerful phones are nowadays, they're as powerful as a Switch. Some of the screens are better than the Switch, and they're only getting better. It's not like we've hit the cusp and small phones are going to downgrade from here. They're only getting better and more expensive. I mean, what you pay for a phone, you could buy 3 consoles with that price for some of them. So, this does upset me. Not that I play the game. It upsets me for the players. And it was a short-lived. I think it came out last May or something like that. So it's May, really – so it's like just over a year of life. That's very, very short for a mobile experience and a Pokemon experience nonetheless. It's not just a mobile game. This has the official Pokemon license. It came out to little fanfare. I remember like, what is this? And I did enjoy it. And I think our last game of the year, I did mention it. But yeah, it's sad to see any game die.
Yeah, yep, for sure. Yeah, and I think what you're saying about it'd be great if they could turn it into just an offline single player experience where you wouldn't require that, but instead they just cut support. I wonder if it is because of the new game coming out, or that's already out actually.
Exactly.
But I don't know, Greg. I don't think you were a big fan of this game or anything, but do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it does stink to hear it shut down. I mean, I don't know if it made it longer than Mitomo did, but I know that was kind of a sad time when that game shut down. So it kind of stinks, and I know Nintendo's been learning lots of lessons with their different formats, but I know they've always required the online activity. I know that was a huge thing on Super Mario Run. It's like, I already downloaded the full game. Why do I need to be connected to the internet? So it's like they can still pull the plug on that one, and that one will just still be gone. So
That's true. Yeah.
Forgot about that.
It does. Yep, it does really stink about the monetary investment that you put in. So it's just kind of a cautionary tale. Don't get too enthralled in it that you're spending that kind of money on these games when they just be like, up tomorrow it's gone. So
when it's weird that some of them stick around for a lot longer. Like I was talking to one of my good friends the other day, and he was talking about how he still plays Simpsons Tapped Out on his phone. I'm like, I remember playing that game, but it's been like 5 years like since I probably touched it or beyond that, and they're still throwing support at that, and they haven't closed down servers or anything. But a Pokemon game, didn't even barely made it just over a year. Like that's interesting, and why they would.
And
do
it's
that.
also part of a Pokemon spin-off that has been overall successful.
Right.
It's not just this Pokemon Cafe, which is a new thing. The Pokemon Rumble series has been on the 3DS, on the Wii U, been on the Wii, I think, right? Or is it the DS? Was it just 3?
DS, I think.
Just yeah, I think it was maybe definitely 3DS and a Wii U.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where this is already an established spin-off of the Pokemon series, and it's just one of those where it's it didn't last.
Yeah.
And it's a cautionary tale, because it doesn't matter how, I mean, Pokemon is the number one media franchise, period. It is not just in games, just in general, the number one. So if this could happen to the number one in just over a year, it can happen to anything. It absolutely could. Like I'm playing, the new Tales of game. There was Tales of the Ray, which was a mobile game that I played. That's shut down. That's gone. And again, the Bandai Namco, big publisher, big flagship series for them. They've killed it, and there's plenty of other mobile games that have died off. And it really is. It's reaffirms why I go physical. And it is definitely a cautionary tale for whether or not you want to spend money on this stuff. And F in the chat for the players of this game, because tonight's your last night. And if you never played it, and if you want to try it, you say, hey, you know what, I want to try it just to say I played it. You better play it tonight, because it's going away after that.
That's true.
I did take a peek at my Nintendo, and all the rewards and stuff are still there. So there's like no notification of it shutting down there either, which is kind of odd. Nice. So it's like I could technically spend some coins on some rewards, and then the game's just going to be going away, and I don't even know if I'd be able to spend whatever I purchased.
Well, you got to spend those coins on something, and it's all junk anyway, so might as well just throw it away.
I've just been buying stuff in Fire Emblem Heroes to waste the coins, so at least I can use it in there. So.
And see, that's why I like the pass system. I know some people don't. Like Mario Kart Tour, I do the gold pass because I play enough that the extra rewards they give me are worth the $5. Because I play so much that it warrants my price. And as long as they're constantly updating it, then I'm cool. When they stop updating it, then I'm done. Yeah. It's just like playing for an MMO. You pay for an MMO and you pay per month, and you hopefully get your money's worth. Now MMOs that shut down really soon, people, get annoyed, But look how many of them survive for years upon years.
That's true. Great. Or Barry, if only there was a way to play physical games on your phone. That's the a little slot.
Well, there is that there's a Game Boy adapter that they have. for actual Game Boy games, but mobile games, no physical. Well, you say that, but here's the thing: there's a lot of mobile games that have been lost, and
Oh, it's
that
true.
there's emulation, but it's not really the same. Like there's old Tomb Raider games, there's old Splinter Cell games, there's old movie tie-in games, back on like the flip phone days. And I'm not saying they're really great, but these games, there's old Sonic games that are lost to this format. And then, I'd love to see a compilation of like all the old phone games. They may be terrible, old Duke Nukem, whatever, but Tekken I think had one. But that's why I cherish the N-Gage, just even though it's a terrible system in the grand scheme of things, because it is the vertical. It had a great library, and that's the only way to play those games.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, let us know in the chat or the comments later if you actually played Pokemon Rumble Rush and what your thoughts are on it closing down. But let's move on. We still have a few more things to hit tonight in terms of news, and we're going to turn our attention toward LEGO again. It's kind of like every episode. We get another update about the LEGO Super Mario stuff, and we've talked about how, that's not really our thing, but what if they came out with a Bowser's Castle set, or a Princess Peach's Castle set, or something like that? We were all over it. Well, Nintendo gave us something that I don't think any of us ever thought we needed. They and LEGO have teamed up to give us an NES set for LEGO. So it's going to drop also on August 1st, because that's like the day where Nintendo and LEGO's all their stuff is going to be launching. And you can build your own NES along with the old school CRT TV, and it somehow plugs in, and you can actually connect it, and it rotates through. It even comes with a cartridge that you can put in and everything. You turn this little gear as you're watching. You guys are seeing this on the screen if you're watching the video version. But yeah, it all connects together, and it's like you have an NES built out of Legos. I was so excited about this. And then I saw the price, and I thought to myself, Steve, $229. You really shouldn't be spending $229 on a Lego. But I really want it, guys. Seriously, this is awesome. But $229, that's a lot. Barry, what do you think about this NES set?
I think it's awesome. I think it's going to sell out. Despite the price, it's one of those things where I'll be honest. If I had the room to display it, I would buy it. I would build it and I would display it. That's the key. It's a 1-to-1 ratio for an NES. So NESs weren't terribly small, and then the TV's a little bigger than that. So because I don't have the room, I'm not touching it. And I might regret that. I might be telling my grandkids, "Oh, I should have bought that. That's worth $10,000 now." And here it is, recording of me talking about it. But I am not going to be purchasing this.
All right, Greg, you gonna be getting it?
Yeah, I feel like the same as you, Steve. It's I would just really love to have it and put together. It'd be so great to have on display. $200. I don't know about that.
I know. You could spend $229 on that, or the Millennium Falcon Lego set. I don't know. Actually, Millennium Falcon may be worth more than that, but
yeah.
I think it's like $450.
Well, for me, it'd be like the Magic Kingdom Castle or something.
Right,
or
there you go.
It's really would love to have it and have it on display, but not quite worth over $200.
Yeah.
I think with $200, I'd rather get a Switch Lite so then I can play my Switch more frequently. So,
right. I was thinking about all the other things I could spend $229 on. I'm like, is that really a smart decision, Steve? I mean, I still have my Lego Star Wars sets and stuff that I need to still put together. So, and those cost a whole lot less. I think that was like $30. So, yeah, I really think it's awesome, but I don't have that kind of money sitting around to spend on it, unfortunately. And I would make the space. I would make the space for it, but if that was a smart financial decision, I would make the space for it. But yeah, let us know if you guys are planning on getting the Lego NES, and yeah, maybe it'd be kind of cool. Let us know, putting it all together and stuff like that. Show us some videos and photos of you guys when you get it. Let us know, like in our social and Discord and stuff. That'd be awesome. Let's see. Moving on. Well, before I move on,
Go in the chat. There's stuff in the chat.
There is the chat, and I think actually that like kind of mentioned, or it triggered me to think of something that I think maybe we actually will see some castles and things like that eventually. But Chariot Goblin says that the Lego NES announcement felt like it would go well with the rumored Mario 35th anniversary remastered. Which we haven't talked about, and I think we, like, I was like a lot of people were thinking that kind of stuff was going to happen in that Nintendo Direct, and that was not the case at all. But yeah, I think it could have been a nice little tie-in. We're like, oh, cool, you can have the old school game where it all started, and we're gonna bring out this new collection for you, whatever, or all the new games they're gonna come out for Switch. Yeah, did you guys think there was gonna be some tie-in to that?
Absolutely. I was kind of thinking about it after everything we've been hearing about the 35th anniversary. It's like, oh, Paper Mario could have fit it, but they didn't market it as such. The Lego sets certainly could fit, but it's not marketed as such. So is it just going to be like they're not going to do anything? Or like, the rumors are going crazy. It's like, oh, you can get like Mario Galaxy and Mario 64, Mario Sunshine on like Switch, and that would be awesome. I would definitely buy that. But
yeah.
Like, they definitely would have a direct or some sort of special presentation, treehouse, whatever.
Yeah. Jakester didn't think there was going to be connections, but yeah, Barry, they got like Twitter handles that are coming out of nowhere, like apparently being tied to the Nintendo and the Japan account and Mario 35th anniversary. I mean, at this point, we had heard so much more about the 20th anniversary, the 25th anniversary, the 30th anniversary. We got nothing for 35th.
I forget it's the 35th anniversary, to be honest, because they haven't done anything. And when I saw the Lego NES, I didn't even think about the rumored Mario collection. It was just like Lego's marching to their beat of their own drum, like them doing this. This is a partner. The partner is doing their own thing. Didn't even think about it. But yeah, it would have been perfect. Mm-hmm. It would have been perfect if they did some kind of collaboration. 100% agree. I don't know. I almost feel like COVID threw off all their plans for this. I mean, and we'll talk about in a little bit about the little delay to Mario World, but it's one of those things where they might celebrate the 36th anniversary.
Maybe. Jesse Glenn in the chat says he thought about getting the Lego NES for his niece, but he already got a really NES and an SNES, so it's just too much. I think the better investment really is the actual NES and the SNES. So good choice there, for sure.
And more games, more actual games, and she's gonna get bored. Turn that crank real quick. That's a novelty.
Oh wait, the crank broke off. I gotta reattach
it. If it's as flimsy as that. It's probably not, because it's Lego branded, and those things are a lot better. But if it was as flimsy as the kickstand on the Switch, then who knows?
Oh boy.
Which mine's still holding on. All right, let's move on. We had a couple more news things to talk about before we wrap up today. Greg, fill us in on what's happening with our good friend Reggie. Reggie's been doing a lot of stuff in his retirement, and he just got signed on to help with another game company. So fill us in what he's doing.
Yeah, so if you thought Reggie was done and being all retired, he's actually not. So as Steve already said, he's already got a number of things. So it looks like he was brought on as a strategic advisor at Rogue Games. So they made like an official statement saying Reggie brings to the table his unrivaled experience in the console arena, which is invaluable to us as we expand our portfolio to include incredible games on Nintendo Switch, Microsoft Xbox, Sony PlayStation, and PC. And then Reggie also shared his own statement. When Rogue shared its console vision with me and I saw the games that will be arriving this summer on platforms like Nintendo Switch, I was immediately impressed by the levels of ambition and innovation. I've always on the lookout for fast-growing, innovative companies that are ready to shape the future of games, and I'm excited to join Rogue in their mission to unite and simplify games publishing across all platforms. So that's certainly pretty great to see that he helping them out, and hopefully they'll have some great games across the platforms. And then, as a side note, if you forgot, Reggie was appointed to the GameStop's board of directors back in March. So, like, he still has like another job on the side too. So, definitely keeping busy in his so-called retirement.
Nice.
I think he's busier now than he was working at Nintendo of America.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it.
Yeah, for sure. I actually had to check out Rogue Games' website because I wasn't familiar with the name, so I had to check out some of the games, and it does seem interesting. It's like how he's stepping into a company that's done a lot of mobile games and seems like to be a fairly young company, and kind of have a lot of those like simple like I don't know, things that we'd find, on the cheap side of the eShop and stuff like that. So it's interesting that he's stepping into Rogue Games, and hopefully they can continue to help them get better and better. It's not that their games are bad, but they kind of seem like they're on the lower end from what they have out so far. So maybe with Reggie's involvement, they'll continue to get better and better. Barry, what do you think about this?
I mean, his body is clearly not ready for retirement, and he's just doing things. And I say more power to him. I mean, as long as he's happy, as long as this is what he wants to do, he did bring a lot of greatness to the gaming industry. What he didn't bring was Mother 3 to America, and what he tried to stop was Xenoblade Chronicles coming to America. So, I definitely question his judgment.
Yeah. I think it's cool that he's continuing to do some stuff, and it's nice that he can step outside of the realm of just Nintendo and have an impact there. And I wonder if these roles are actually better for him. Kind of advisory roles, and he's got so much experience within the gaming industry and marketing and all that sort of thing that maybe if he's not the one calling all the shots, but he's actually just offering his expertise, that may be a better role for him in his retirement years. And he's still got tons of years ahead of him. He retired young, so he's got so many years ahead of him that he can offer to other companies. So that's cool. Keep going, Reggie. But one place you can't go is Super Nintendo World in Japan. Greg, we've been covering this for a while. I've gotten excited. I'm almost, wanting to book my tickets for Japan. And you're telling me they're delaying this thing now? What's up with this, Greg? Come on.
Yeah, so apparently the Super Nintendo opening was postponed. And then the new opening date was not revealed yet, so pretty much Universal Studios in Japan stated they wanted to see how things will go in the next few months. And then once they know, then they will be announcing a new opening date sometime this fall. So if you were looking for something to do this summer, sorry, you got to wait. Or maybe you just got to stay there till next season. I don't know. Depends on your priorities and what you have going on. But yeah, it doesn't sound like it's going to open until the fall. So we're used to delays from Nintendo's, so obviously they'll make it experience better and improve it. Even with like COVID and everything, I don't know, like you really want to go there right now anyways. I know Disney World in Florida just like reopened like in the last like 2 weeks, so, and there's all sorts of new restrictions and policies in place, like temperature screenings and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know if you'd want to have that in the the Mushroom Kingdom, not the Magic Kingdom.
COVID affecting the Mushroom Kingdom. What has this world come to? Barry, I guess we're going to have to postpone our trip to Japan.
Yeah, I guess so. It's definitely already affecting the Mushroom Kingdom, though. That's why the Mario 35th anniversary stuff's delayed, so it's already affecting.
It's true.
But yeah, this makes sense. I think a lot of states, a lot of places are opening prematurely. They want to get back to normal. They'll look at Florida and Texas. That's not exactly the smartest thing to do. People aren't being cautious. People are, oh, this is over, and that's just not wise. The important thing is to stay safe and keep healthy. And I'm fine waiting an extra year or two to ever see, Super Nintendo World in person, because I'd rather be safe and rather when I go there, not be more concerned and panicked about people walking past me, and instead being able to focus on the majesty and the illusion that I'm really stepping into the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah. Jared says that he had to cancel his trip to Japan. He was actually going. One of the big reasons he was going was to see Super Nintendo World, and that's really unfortunate. It says the difficulty in getting a refund was sad. The news cut deep. Yeah, that's really unfortunate, especially if you were planning that trip. That's really sad. But hopefully, they're still making progress. We're seeing a lot more photos and videos of it, and one of these days, hopefully soon, we'll actually get it started in America as well and be able to just head down to Florida or California or wherever. We don't have to go all the way to Japan to actually step into the Mushroom Kingdom. But really unfortunate, but totally get it, and it just adds to the list of so many things that have had to be pushed back or canceled or whatever because of this stupid disease. So hopefully we can move on from it pretty soon, but we'll see. All right, so let's move into what we're going to be playing over the next couple of weeks, what's coming out and everything. But before we do that, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in once again. Thanks for joining in the chat. Thanks for subscribing and hitting the bell and all those things. Thanks also for your positive comments and reviews of the podcast, all those things. We are very grateful for all that stuff. Again, if you want to continue this conversation between episodes, be sure to follow us on social media at NintendoFuse, and you can also join our Discord. All those links are going to be in the show notes and the description down below. But let's look at what's coming out over the next couple weeks. A big list of not much. That's what it is. It's a big list of not much at all. I mean, guys, Rock of Ages 3 is coming out. A game called
Mine already shipped.
Germs is coming out. Hunt. I know Greg's really excited about that one. I don't know. I mean, just looking through this list, like, it's cool, but yeah, there's not a whole lot of like big kind time.
Carrion's there.
Carrion,
yeah, I was about to say
Carrion's probably about the only one that really stands out to me. Anything stand out to you guys beyond Carrion? Greg, anything there?
No, I didn't think so. I mean, I was trying to run through, and I was like, we just talked about Carrion. Now we were all interested in. And Steve's like neglecting it.
Well,
so.
I mean, as far as like games we haven't talked about, that's really.
It's interesting that there's Jackbox games being released separately.
Yeah, they've done that on other platforms. I guess they're just playing catch up.
Mega Dimension Neptunia 7. Dex, which I heard is very good. It was released on the PS4, and Red Art Games is actually doing a physical for it. But it's listed there. Escape game Fort Boyard, I heard, is also pretty good.
Hey, Swim Sanity's finally coming out on
Yes.
6, so that's pretty exciting.
Swim Sanity is amazing. I'm so looking forward to that. I had a ton of fun playing it at Play NYC, and talking with the guys, and I'm so happy that's finally getting a release date.
Yeah, and another big one, Instant Sports Summer Games. That's really exciting as well.
Fairy Tale is pretty big for the people who love the anime.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, and My Universe, My Baby, but that's coming out after our next podcast, so you get some time to look forward to that one. But
Color X Malice Unlimited. I need to get back to that first one.
I love how I just keep throwing out like games that don't really mean anything, and Barry's still trying to hold on to the actual good ones there.
Yeah, because there are some good ones there.
There are, for sure. Yeah. just the bad. I'm not saying they're bad. They may be great games. My Universe, My Baby may be an excellent game, and Hamster Bob may be a fantastic game, but
Never know.
it just doesn't come across as strong as Carry On or like Fairy Tale or something like that. But maybe they're fantastic games. If you like those games, you're excited about them, let us know in the chat or the comments below.
Yeah, how far off was Steve? Let him know.
Yeah. Tell Steve he's stupid, please.
Like, tell me I'm stupid. Instant Sports Summer Games is going to be fantastic, and you've had it pre-ordered for years.
Hey, I got the first one.
Of course you do. You get them all. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
You're going to get My Universe, My Baby as well.
I already have it pre-ordered.
Of course you do. Greg, anything from this list or other games maybe in your backlog that you're looking forward to playing over the next couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's another Animal Crossing update coming up, and we got the bug off on Saturday, so that's definitely going to be played throughout the next 2 weeks. Hopefully try to finish up with the golf. I'm getting much closer. I think there's only a few more worlds left to finish there as well. So those are the primary two Switch focus games right now. So outside the possible random play of Yoshi, but
Nice. Barry, what do you been playing, or what do you hope to be playing in the next couple weeks?
I hope to finish Persona 5 Royal, and when I do that, that's when I'm going to start Paper Mario. I just don't want to do 2 RPGs at the same time. I'm going to be doing Animal Crossing periodically, and definitely the summer update. Bug off, I'm probably just going to do once and then call it quits, like just to get the stamp. It's busy work at this point. It's almost a chore. That's pretty much what I plan to be playing. But when's our next podcast? What date is that?
It'd be August
4th.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That again, I plan to. So who knows? Because we're actually taking a break from the Playcast, so there won't be Playcast games. We have a reason for that. But I'm actually doing a solo episode this Friday, so that's going to be interesting. So please send me questions and topics to talk about, because it's just going to be me. That's going to be interesting.
Nice. So Jared says he's going to be playing Pokemon all weekend. With the summer update and the bug off, there's going to be lots of exciting things happening in Animal Crossing. For sure, and I'll be playing those Animal Crossing updates and everything as well. Of course, more Rocket League, and probably going to finish Torna by the next podcast. So.
Good. You must.
And then Jakester will pass out, and I'm not sure what's going to happen. He may just implode from all the excitement and shock that I'm going to issue to his system by telling him that I finished it.
So look at that, Barry. You got Steve doing the Turna homework assignment, and I did the Bloodstained homework assignment. What do we get?
What do we get?
That was. I mean, come on. Bloodstained was an easy thing. And you enjoyed it. You enjoyed Bloodstained. So
Steve's enjoying Turna. He enjoyed it up until he had to do the community raising. So
you get a pat in the back until you finish Xenoblade Chronicles.
All right.
I'll tell you what. You guys play through Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2. You don't have to do Torna, but that's a bonus. I get you guys like $50 eShop cards. Right? Boom. You heard it right here.
Kind of the one I've done already, just a bonus. Ugh. All right. I did get. Speaking of which, I finally bought the card the other day for the Fighter Pass 2 for Smash Brothers, because I realized I hadn't bought it yet. So I was like, hey, I'm in the store, might as well get that. Oh, and I also got the Piranha Plant amiibo, my first amiibo that I bought in a year. But he was at Target. I was like, there's a bunch of them. I was like, oh, cool. I need the Piranha Plant. So,
he's an awesome one.
I didn't even know it was getting rerun, but oh well, I got it. I already have that one.
Yeah,
so
I didn't either. I walked through.
Did you get your pre-orders in for Hero and for Joker?
I did. Yes, I did that earlier today, I think.
Nice.
Yes.
Won't be ones that I'm going to buy, but they look really cool though. Like, I'm not a huge fan of either of them, but because they looked so cool, I about bought them. But
Dragon Quest 11 was my game of the year last year, and I'm really enjoying Persona 5 Royal now, so it really works for that.
Nice. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. As we said earlier, our next podcast is going to be on August 4th, so a couple weeks from today. What's that, Barry?
I was saying, hold on, before you go, there's 2 quick announcements.
Okay.
Earlier today I did the next industry talk that's going to be going up either later this week or early next, depending on Steve. And that was with for fans of the show that have followed us for a while, is with Dan Butchko, the CEO of Playcrafting. And Play NYC is coming up. And normally this time of year we're doing a contest. We're giving out tickets. We're not doing that this year. And the reason is not because he's not giving us free tickets. It's because the show is all online this year, and it's a week long, and it is 100% free. So there's nothing to give away. So it is going to be August 10th to the 16th. That's Monday through Saturday. It's 6 days, and it is a complete free show. The interview going up will have a lot of details, but I do want to mention that, bring it to your attention, mark your calendars, because it's a great show. I've gone every year. I love it. Dan and the team at Playcrafting are great people, and now it's free. Anywhere you are in the world, there's really no excuse not to at least check it out and maybe get some great games.
Sure. Hey, Barry, I'm going to play NYC this year.
Finally. Well, you told Dan that you were, so he's still waiting for you.
Perfect.
Yeah, well,
perfect.
And I'm also going to be a guest on the Why Are You a Gamer podcast next week. So we'll see how that works out, but see if they kick me off early or not. But I'll post the links and stuff in my Twitter when that goes live.
For sure. Remind us, what's the dates for Play NYC again?
It's August 10th to the 16th. So then the week in between our show. So not our next show, but it's going to be in between. So it's going to be great for the week after. We can do like a recap, in our episode.
Nice. Jared's still demanding a hand-drawn ticket. So
I got, we got you free tickets every year, Jared, so he knows. Jared's been there before. He knows it's a good show. And hopefully you check out their online portion of the show this year and let them know, let them know what you think, go to @Playcrafting or on Twitter, and let them know, like, when after the show or when you go, like, this is going to be a new thing, and they just announced one of their big things is they announced Rockstar Games is actually sponsoring their graffiti games this year, which is highlighting Black developers. Nice. And there's going to be extra funds for that, and they're getting bigger names. That's so really cool. It's awesome.
Nice. So look out for that industry talk coming up soon. Again, if you haven't subscribed to us, if you haven't hit the bell, be sure to do that so you get that here on our YouTube channel. I think that's it for episode 202. Again, we'll be back in a couple weeks for episode 203 on August 4th. In the meantime, make sure you go check out all those games. Join us on social media, our Discord. Let me know if I was wrong about my universe, my baby. All those comments, just throw them in the comment section here on YouTube. And thank you guys so much for joining us again for another episode of the NintendoFuse Podcast. We'll see you next time, or online somewhere. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Bye.